Yo, what are you doing?
Trying to make money.
Dude, we gotta work on free shit.
Yeah, well, sometimes we got other things we gotta handle, you know?
This is a mud truck shot.
Yeah, right, but it's a shop nonetheless.
It is true.
So, we got a couple other things we gotta take care of. Like, this guy brought this in.
Is this gonna pay for more mud truck parts?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'll leave you alone. You can tell them guys whatever you're gonna fix on this.
Sure, yeah. Let's
Fucking
get right in here. So, this is a chipper, obviously. Guy brought it in and says he's got a bad bearing here on his shaft for his chipper barrel here. And I don't know if we can show you.
Bad bearing on the shaft.
Yeah, this bearing here is absolutely shot. So we gotta do, just gonna loosen up the motor, slide the motor back. We're gonna get these belts off and we'll have that bearing out in no time and he can order a new part and bada bing, bada boom, we'll send this guy on his way.
Always worked on stuff. I grew up on my buddy's farm when I was from the age like 13 on. So I was always fixing shit, always fixing, broken everything, water lines, milk house lines, balers, silo unloaders, all that stuff. And then I just segued into this stuff. So with the mud trucks, then I became self-employed, which is probably one of the worst things you could do. So I had to fix all my own trucks, all my own trailers, all my own equipment. Well, for 15, 18 years, I did it basically outside in my dad's dooryard. I lived on my own, but I just worked in the dirt, so, and there's nothing wrong with that, but there came a point where we got so busy with stuff that it was time. So we built a shop 2 years ago. And the problem is this is a perfect example, something like this right here. I get guys, I've been doing this most of my life. Now they just know that when nobody else can or wants to fix it, we can fix this. And the greatest part about it is that I am self-employed, so I know that it can't last one time. You know, so many times I would drop my own stuff off to get worked on at other facilities, and they just cobbed it or band-aided it back together, which is all right, but not when you need to actually have it for work the next day. So we have a pretty good reputation with fixing stuff like this, and we're thorough. Whatever it needs, it gets. I got a couple buddies around here that are local machinists and stuff, and they'll send me some shit that they don't want. Sometimes the stuff I don't even want either. But I amaze ourselves when, you know, we get it done. You know, we don't have a lot of tools. I'll outsource a lot of stuff. I got a couple buddies with plasma tables, lathes, all that stuff, and they do all that stuff for us. And you know, disassembly and assembly is easy. But I mean, like, something like this, like what he's doing now, we've had things apart so many times. We know the shortcuts and everything else, and how to make. And you know, having a skid steer around now, that's like having 10 guys here to pick stuff up. It's safer. You know, we're not a licensed repair shop, so we just do. I just take on whatever we can take on. So. And sometimes I take on stuff that we don't want to take on.
Oh, that's all part of it right there.
Yeah, it is. The money is in stuff that has to be used every day. This chipper has to go out this door to make this guy money. So, like I said, we're very reasonable and affordable when it comes to working on stuff. But at the end of the day, we'll get paid for this. These things, money pits. They just, you know, it's hard to get paid for them. You know, not to discriminate or talk shit about any guys or anybody in general. But the basic mud bog world is a non-profitable thing unless you are a full shop, you know, and you are moving parts and moving everything. That's why so many people never believed me when I said that this was always a hobby to me, because sure, I put a lot of money in it, but I worked my ass off for that. But I turn wrenches on this stuff just to keep my peace of mind, you know. But this stuff in the wintertime now is pretty nice to carry us through the winter.
Loosened up. It's a matter of taking the pulleys off and
That's
the
it?
bearings right there.
Just one bearing span or all?
He said just this side of that. So
That's all he wants to replace?
I don't know. I'll see once I get the belts off how bad it really is. Oh yeah, there she goes. You see, just a little help.
Need some more?
I'm assuming it ran out. Oh no, it's still got some.
Need some more?
Let's see what that does, because hold on, I'm at the end of the bolts right now.
Yeah, I got some pressure.
Oh, I got plenty of slack.
You want to leave this on there?
No, we're actually completely done with that. So just take these off, get them right out of the way. See how bad that really is? Adam will just tell me to weld it, guarantee. Hey boss, come look at this. Look at how bad this really is. Watch this.
It's fucking welded and silicone it.
You never really know, you know what I mean? You never really know. All right. Really couldn't be much easier.
So we got some issues. So number one, the axle shaft was bent. Took it to my buddy's shop, and we got it pretty close to straight. This is great for all you guys out there who, is that radio too loud?
Yeah, that's better.
This is a great one for all you guys out there who are worried about running bent shit and fucked up shit and this and that. So I'm not cheap by any means. I'll buy all new shit. I don't give a fuck. But there are ways that you can save it. So this axle, this rear axle was shot. It was bent. Everything was all messed up. So this thing was horrible. Horrible bad. Right? It's still got a little rotation in there. You can see it. But took this to my buddy's machine shop. We put it in his press. We got this bad boy pretty damn close to straight. We're good. The other issue that I got is when this one came out of the scrapyard, if you see these splines, they go up and they're angled. So this way is on its way to breaking. So, but I'm just not dropping $275 for a new rear axle shaft for now. Not that I'm cheap, but this will be fine. I caught it just before. The reason that this happened right here is because these were takeouts. So this here happens from excessive stress. Like if it's already in a mud truck or in a vehicle, it comes from excessive stress, too much load. What happened with these jackasses was the truck had dual rear wheels. They were pushing it with the air brakes locked up on it, and one of the wheels broke loose and it bent the splines. They didn't know, and you would never know. Well, then they dropped the truck too, so the rear axle housing bent. So I had to cut the housing. I got more work in that rear end than what it's worth. But I'm gonna run this. Like I said, we got this thing straight. I'm happy with this, but that's what this is right here. Back in the day when I used to run Dana 60s, oh man, you twist them things like a pretzel. But this is still okay. You know what I mean? So don't be scared of this. And you see it a lot more on these longer spline shafts. You know, 5 ton, 2.5 ton, the splines are only half as long. So, you know, when they go, they usually break. These here, a rear axle like this, a long axle like this, has a lot of twist to it before it'll actually break. So don't be afraid to reuse stuff that's not 100%. You know, if it's not in your budget, you're all right. I mean, if it's real bad, then yeah, you know, you really need to change it. Same thing here. The only reason I'm using Never Seas on the end of this is because that axle was in a fire. This truck was in a fire. So I rebuilt this whole rear end entirely. Everything from the carrier on out. The axle shafts are the only things that I'm reusing, and I just want this to go into the carrier a little bit easier than it came out. So. And it did. Thank God. I'm reassembling this Meritor axle, and what really helped me with this was Neil Harrison. He's actually doing our Tech Talk, True Bagger Tech Talk this Thursday at 7 p.m. He kind of walks you through that disassemble and reassembly. Mostly of just the hub, but I mean, this I figured out. So.
What has 5 fingers and this in your hand?
I don't know.
My hand.
What? How do you spot the blind guy on a beach? How do you spot a blind guy on a nude beach?
I don't know.
It's not hard.
That's a good one.
The guy told me that today. Why didn't the skeleton cross the road? He had no body to go with. Boy, that axle's that boy.
What size tire are you gonna run on this?
Not sure yet. It's gonna be either 19.5 or the 14 924s. So the 14 924s are what was on it. The 19.5s are what I had on my Fuck You truck. So those would complement this truck. very well. This thing's gonna get it. I'm pretty. I've never been a skimmer. I've always been a mud bike guy, but this truck's gonna rip.
What if you like skimming now?
Now I'm gonna go start doing bounty holes and making money. I'm gonna start joining. I tell you, I got a good idea. If I start skimming, I'm gonna start joining Randy Oakley's race series all over the country and bitch like all them other guys do about somebody who beats me. Yeah. I'm not gonna just show up and run my shit because that's why I say I built. I'm gonna go there because I say I built my shit, but then I'm gonna bitch about it while I'm there too. So.
Yeah, but that was split second. I won.
Yeah, no, it doesn't matter.
If you ain't first, you're last.
No, I'm honestly, for the first time in a long time, I was talking to my wife about this. I've been talking to a lot of my buddies, and I get it. It's time to. I've always done my own thing. I've always done what I like to do, and this is like real talk for a minute, not rehearsed shit. I've always loved this shit, and there was a time where I wanted to do the events because I liked the stress. I like the level of stress it brought because I'm good at it. You know, I can handle that. You know. Then what happens is, and it doesn't happen to most people. It only happens to people that allow it to happen to them. New people come into the game, and nobody really in particular, and just new people in general. And you gotta just know when it's time for you to step away and go do something else. You know, you gotta know when it's almost like the passing of the torch kind of deal there. So with the mud bogging, that's something that I've always done my whole life, so I'll continue to do that. The events and stuff like that, other guys can have it now. But what it does is, it sucks, is it kind of ruins it for me as far as like, I like going to the big events still. I like going to Trucks No Wild events. I like seeing a lot of people that I know and people that I haven't seen. Zach, wanna grab a 7/8 and a 13/16 wrench? So, but the bullshit that comes with it is, it's too clicky. You know what I mean? It used to be, I'm not going backwards. I don't want it to be the way it used to be. I don't want to go backwards in time. I'm happy with where I'm at. But a lot of my buddies over the last couple of years have really kind of gotten out of this. And they've said that's why it was. And I'm a pretty positive guy for the most part. And I understand that you got to do what you like to do. But I really like talking shit. And I like running my truck. And I always have. And that run your truck, not your mouth. I've always said run your truck and your mouth. You know, my buddy John Anderson back in the day, Mike White, all them guys from up north, Bam Bam down in Florida, you know what I mean? David George and Scott Kersner in Ohio. I mean, we've always talked shit. And then it just changed, you know, like a couple people started getting offended and stuff. And like I said, this is nobody in general. I mean, if you think it's you, then you're obviously the problem, you know, when you see one of those videos. Or if you say, you think this is it's not that. It's society as a whole has changed, and that's a whole nother topic. But it's taken a lot of the fun out of it for me to go. But I still love running my truck. So I mean, I would rather run it here in my yard. It doesn't matter to me if I run it in my yard in front of my cats, or if I run it in Texas in front of 30 people, or Louisiana Mudfest in front of 10,000 people. It doesn't matter to me. But as far as the bigger events and stuff, I don't know. It's just changed. So, and I thought, I've listened to so many people for so many years say that it's changed, and I didn't listen to them. I'm like, nah, man, you know, you just got to enjoy it. You just got to enjoy it until I finally got to that point where, you know, you're like, you can't go somewhere without offending somebody, and all you're trying to do is be you and have a good time. And what was funny with me was most people over the years, they kind of thought they knew who I was. You know, I'm not two-faced. I'm not two different people. I'm not even bipolar. but it was just to the point, I got to the point where it was just like, I just started saying, you know what, fuck this. Time to do what I want to do, you know? So, walking away from the events for me was very, very hard in the beginning. Because I put a lot of my time and effort into it, and I really do enjoy it. I really do enjoy seeing the people, but we just settled up a lawsuit 2 weeks ago, and I won't even get into it, really. I won't mention any names or anything like that, but just a simple lawsuit, and this is the part that the guys don't see. Kid had broke a foot or hand. We won't really get into which one it was. Had nothing to do with me, but because my insurance wasn't in place the right way, this was a couple years ago, it cost me $30,000 out of my pocket. You know, that was none of my buddies helped me pay that. You know, there were other people involved in the lawsuit, and it was good to get it done. And I don't even know if I'm supposed to speak about it, but I really don't give a fuck. But that's about the biggest slap in the face that you can get out of anything. For all the people that think that there's so much money in the event side of it and stuff, man, I'd rather sit in this fucking shop and work on my daughter's fucking goddamn four-wheeler before I'll ever take a risk like that again. So, to all the other guys out there doing events and stuff, you know what I mean? I have a lot of advice to give, and it's not worth it. I'm one of those guys who, I don't like to quit things, and I don't like to walk away from nothing, but that was bullshit. That was a huge indicator for me that, yeah, buddy, you're done. So that was that. So unfortunately what that did was that kind of changed my whole mindset for everything. I'm not mad, you know what I mean, because I'll just go to work. We'll make more money, but that was the nail in the coffin for me. That was the eye-opener that I needed that said, just focus on you. Get out of the events, get out of all that. Don't sell no more parts. Fuck that mud bog, you know, world. I'll help the people I can help, absolutely, wherever I can, but nah, just the other stuff I'm done. So.
Not good. I need more heat.
More heat, or just put it away. Moving.
This? It's still in there.
No, I mean like,
Well, when do you back?
probably next week.
Oh, that rest
His
on.
issue
so
is
that
not-
thing was barely hanging on.
His issue is not a bad bearing. I mean, this bearing's not in great shape, but it's got a little clunkiness to it.
Shaft.
Yeah. So the shaft's just sitting inside here spinning instead of spinning the bearing like it's supposed to.
Right.
Guy came in, thought he needed a new bearing.
Where are the set screws? They were just never in there?
This is where they go. Where they are, nobody knows because
They were in the chipper.
they were not in here.
Is it a set screw chipper?
Apparently.
So what's the shaft supposed to look like?
The shaft is supposed to be the size of
Is it a black shaft?
this here or the inside. Not this. This is bad. All this is worn down. So I don't know how long it took to get this way, but not much longer than that would have sheared right off. So regardless, this man needs a new shaft for the turbo. Whatever you want to call it.
What we got here is this is a piece I had my buddy Gene from Chain Reaction make. I think he makes these anyway, and they're for sale on their Chain Reaction site. This is basically a 2.5 ton to 5 ton adapter. So if you've got a Profab, SCS, Chain Reaction, Tombstone, whatever transfer case, and it runs a 2.5 ton flange, you can just bolt this on. What's nice about this is they do really nice work. Everything's machined and recessed. I don't know the exact cost on this because I trade them off a lot of work. But we're gonna put these on the shocker truck right now. So that's a pretty nice piece. So 1 inch thick, 3/4 of an inch thick roughly. And that's a pretty Mondo piece.
You know, over the years, I mean, we've helped out quite a few events, and it was a lot of learning experience. What of your favorite or one of the memorable things that you remember about events, you know, pros and cons? Maybe something you can shine light on that.
because I've been doing this my whole life, you know. There's a lot of new guys that have come on, and again, I'm not talking about anybody in specific. There's a whole new group. So everybody has me affiliated with the Trucks Gone Wild stuff, right? Then they think that for some reason I don't like them. I love them guys. You know what I mean? Those guys are good guys. Business-wise, it was just time for me to just kind of. I just felt it was just time to do my own thing. I just felt I had more potential on my own than working with them. But and then I ended up stepping away. But so many of the new guys now, in all levels, they weren't there for like the beginning. That was the best. The camaraderie, the ball busting, all of the fun and everything that we had, and doing the events in New York. My God, to have guys like, you know, meeting like Peter Earl. You know, he's a great dude. He came up to Poland there. It was 2 years in a row. You know, wrecked his shit. It's amazing to watch that. Todd Rendo, you know, Dave Casey. There's so many guys that I've met. My buddy Corey Hoffman from New Jersey. I love that guy. He's a great dude. And you know, it goes beyond mud trucks. It goes beyond. I've gotten a lot of paver work and wall work out of doing these mud bogs. I never would have seen that coming. Tree work, whatever it was there. You know, you can make friendships doing it and stuff. And or had a blower motor per se, but I didn't need it. I always just had, you know, 6 to 1,000 horsepower mud trucks, just running, just having a great time. And I made a name for myself by the trucks I built, the way I drove, and my attitude. So, but I don't know. I mean, as far as like the power lines is probably the best thing ever that I've ever been a part of. You know, to have something like that, and that's where a lot of our friendships were made back then. And then, you know, to go to Brian's Mud Bog in Canada and just to see that other guys have what we had, that's how you know somebody's pretty solid. You know what I mean? Like a pretty solid group of guys. You know, the events over the years, the events turned into events, you know, and it was really hard for me to explain that to a lot of people for a lot of years. Everybody would come to Poland and it would be a Trucks Gone Wild event, and I would have to explain to people, listen, man, this is not a weekend where you're going to be four-wheeling with your kids all weekend long. This is a party weekend. It's a crazy weekend. And, man, I caught a lot of heat for a lot of that stuff, and a lot of guys liked it, and it was what it was. You know, that's where Mountain Madness kind of came into play. Johnny had Mountain Madness. He picked up a lot of the riff-raff and shit from trail wrecks back in the day, and we got Mountain Madness pretty fine, too. So, you know, Poland is a great place. That's always been like a show. Big horsepower, big air, big mud. Mountain Madness, you know, Johnny kind of had that vision in the beginning, but it was more, we geared that more towards family, you know, because like I said, a lot of us, you know, we're getting older. I'll be 39 next week, something like that, and you got kids and shit, and you know, I still like to get down, but it's just like, you don't need to get down to like 2, 3, 4 in the morning. You know, you want to go and just have a good time and do stuff. But my God, the people in the parks that have come on in the last 10 years from doing all this stuff, and I was just glad to be a part of it, because I left most of the places and most of the things on really good terms. You know, I don't really burn a lot of bridges unless I really don't like somebody. Then I'll tell them to fuck off. But no, it's been a pretty good trip. You know, I've met a lot of good people. You know, like I said, the Trubogger magazine thing that is going on now that you guys are doing, I think that's probably one of the proudest things that I would ever be of, because at the end of the day, you forget all the mud bogs because you were drunk or you wrecked all your shit, but the magazine spotlights people and really pays attention to them, and it gives back, and you know, it just shows, you know, that's a great thing. You know, now for me at least, I have 2 daughters, so I'm gonna be looking for one of them to start driving these things here pretty quick, so I got something to do, because I don't know. But like I said, with me, I kind of been there, done that. I don't know what's next really for me. I set my goals pretty simple, so, and I kind of met most of them, so. Now I just like to kind of go around and just meet as many good people as I can and associate with good people. So I like people I can pick on and people that can pick on me, and we can talk shit too and have a good time. That's how I've always, it's the same thing here in the shop, I've always been that way. I'm trying to stay clear of some people that can't get their feelings hurt, because I just don't understand that. So. in the cab.
There you go.
That's pretty sweet shit.
I like your intake.
This thing here?
Oh, the PVC deal.
Oh yeah, everybody does that.
Everybody does that.
Remember the dryer vent, dude? We blew it on your old.
Oh my god, that
That
went
wrap
poof
truck?
one time and that was it. Yeah, a lot of guys run like pump primers and shit like that.
Yep.
And he grabs a little thing of gas. He goes, "No, dude, you're gonna need more now." So I'll show you what you grab. It'll actually start good now because it's warmer. Injection. I did a tech talk video. So what I'm gonna do for you now is I'm gonna show you how to start it in the actual truck. First thing I do, I got my fuel shut off right here, which all you guys should have anyway. Like I said, as far as like transporting and stuff like that. So this is off. We're gonna turn it on. So now the fuel is going to the front. This is what I got. I got my own little woodchuck way of doing this. Because I don't like pump primers and all that shit. So we're gonna do this. Always have a little kid's four-wheeler handy to get into your truck. Okay, so now we're in the truck. Like I said, this is my little concoction that I made. We got a little hose right here, a little 5/8 hose. This is for my pump primer. It runs down into the top of the thing. Did you get a video of that earlier where I had that with Jake? So what I'm gonna do is, right here's your fuel shut off, like I was telling you before. So this is in the truck. That is off. That's wide open. Off, wide open. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna pull it all the way out, and I'm gonna push this thing in about 1/4 of an inch. That's about it. That's all it really needs. Now what I'm gonna do is give her some money shot. It's not the cleanest way to do it, but I can control the amount of gas that goes in there, and it's not usually this messy, so bear with me. And then what I'm gonna do is, this is where I was telling you, when you get a motor with some really good compression, this is how we start it. We're gonna get it winging over, then we're gonna fire it. Boom. Because if you try to fire this thing with full power, it's gonna get ugly. So, and then what I'll do is I'll show you as it's running, because you're not gonna be able to hear. And sometimes this takes 1 or 2 times, but it's pretty warm in here. That's actually, I'm glad it did that. Now, this thing will start again. It'll start right now on alcohol, but I'll do this again just to show you, because once it pops that much, I know it'll start. So I'm gonna give it a little bit more. The easier it starts, the better. And the problem that you have is when you hear that thing click, you don't ever want that starter to bump back because it'll rip teeth off the flywheel. Now that it did that, I know I'm good on alcohol, so I'm gonna give this thing just a little bit more. That's it. I'm in about 1/2 inch. One thing that I usually do is when you pull this out as it's starting to stall, just before it stalls, kill your power. That saves a little bit of fuel left in the line. So then after you shut the truck off, if you're gonna be setting for any length of time, or if the thing's on a trailer, this is a big one, you know? This is what I found. Come back here and shut your fuel off. Just shut it off. Because now what you've done is you've stopped all of the fuel transfer. As far, like if it's just sitting all day, you're fine. But one thing that you gotta know is if you got the truck sitting on a hill because you want to look cool or something like that, and you got your fuel is that much higher than your injection, don't mind me, the alcohol's brutal in here. It's all making head pressure to there. Oh, he's having a shot fit with me too. This shit's awful. Oh my God. I gotta get a group of my biggest supporters and put them in the shop and let the truck run. Give them some Percocets. Percocets and a little bit of alcohol. So that's how you do that.
I don't know anything about it, but this is why you rent machinery, is so you can just return it and be like, I don't know, it don't work anymore.
Building mud trucks for events and renting them out to people.
If it
You
wasn't,
you build something, you take a throttle body motor, like a Chevy 350 throttle body, 2 transfer cases, 2.5 tons, 5 tons, 5 tons, cheap, and we were gonna rent it for $700
an event
for the
Or-
weekend.
Oh, that's kind
You
of
cover the cost of fuel and the damages.
That's cheap to
It
rent.
is, but the insurance is, I mean,
I
you gotta-
wouldn't. There's too many liabilities.
I don't know what somebody's gonna fucking do.
I wouldn't even want to.
This is Scott Ledoux's truck. We just got done putting a cage in this truck here for him. So one thing that I do a lot here at the shop, and this isn't, it's not that hard to do, but a lot of guys don't know. You know what I mean? Especially when it comes in like 5-point harnesses. His girlfriend, Erica, you know, she seems nice, so I don't want her to get hurt. So I gotta make sure hers is right, because a lot of times they don't know how to adjust this. When we're mounting our 5-point harnesses, you know, we weld tabs to the roll cage and then we bolt these to it. All of your adjustments made up in the back. Scott's seat, thank God, had this here so I could work with this. These here really need to be adjusted, and I'm not gonna take it apart right now to show you, but like this piece here comes over, and it's kind of self-explanatory when you're doing it. These have to be adjusted. There's only so much adjustment in the front, and I'm gonna show you here. So this has to be adjusted. So his seat now, I'm gonna put it back, over here. So now I'll walk you through this. And he got a cam style 5-point harness. So the way that this works is, loosen these, walk you guys through some of this stuff. This is stuff, you know, if you guys are getting crazy and you're doing freestyles and shit like this, I mean, the standard has been raised so much. You know, we got to build things even better for you guys now. But you good there? And I'm good here. So when I set these up, I set them up so that all of my adjustment is out. It's all the way up top here. So he's got a cam style, and there's a 5th one that goes through your legs. I don't usually run that one. So with this cam style, this one here, there's another one that has a hook under. For the cam style, you just pick this up in the air. What this does is, when it's down like this thing's open. When you pick it up in the air, you can start plugging it together, okay? Now we're in, now it goes up. This here is to just, when you're done, boom, you're out. Okay? Go over to get back in the truck, put it straight up in the air, boom, boom, boom. This is what is nice for some people who don't know, because the other one you gotta kind of karate chop the middle. Do this, 4-wheeling, you gotta get out in a hurry, pull it down, and you're out. So very, very simple set. So I'm gonna walk you through this here. So you get into here, boom, we're done, I'm gonna pick it up. First thing I do, I sit back tight to the seat, okay? You got your head here. I still gotta put roll bar padding along these sides here, but I'm still clear, I'm still fine, okay? So this one here, I tightened, take some out of this one here, flip more, go back over here, go back over here, and I'm a little smaller than him, so goes here, so we're good there. These ones here, just start pulling them, boom, boom, okay? Wiggle, wiggle. You can get your hands under there. Boom, boom. This is probably a good comfortable setting right here if like you're mud bogging, you know what I mean? Like it's changed so much over the last couple of years. Like as I get away from doing the events and stuff, as I'm gonna walk away from all that stuff, I want to get more into teaching you guys a lot of safety tips and stuff, and you know what you really should be doing. I broke my nose, my eye, my hand in the cab of my leg in the cab of a truck from flipping over, smashing shit over the years. Really could have been avoided with a couple simple things. So I can still get my hands under here, but I'm safe. You know what I mean? If I'm mud bogging, you know, you're mud bogging, okay? If we're freestyling it up, which I don't do freestyle, but I still get a little nutty sometimes, these are gonna go even tighter. I got my bottoms really good. And these ones here, man, you're just going for broke, right? You got these things tight, 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 right? So you are literally, you can't move. Nothing's going underneath. Your head ain't hitting there. Then they got Hans devices too that tie into all of this. So we don't have one in here. So from here, we moved his switch panel way up in the front here, just because that's where it fit, because we kind of reused some of the stuff that was already in this truck. If I would have got really creative, I probably would have tucked it up in here and stuff, but it works here. The one thing that he can do now is, you know, if he's got to kill the truck, right there is his kill switch. Put things, when you guys are mounting your shifters and you're mounting your kill switches, I can't get over to her to help her. I can't get out my door. If the truck's on its side or it's upside down, you can't move. I got, you know, right here's my shifter. I'm in park right here. Hang on, we actually had an issue with this the other day. I'm in first gear. I'm from first, boom, and there's park. You know what I mean? I got all my reach. I can reach. I can at least reach my main power. So if everything goes crap, boom. The only thing that does suck is if the truck quits, I'm gonna have kind of a hard time restarting this truck. But if we're gonna do a freestyle, you know, if he's gonna change it, we'll move it so the kill switch is here or something. But anyway, so here's where you wanna be. You're right here, your hands are here, and like I said, you got your helmet on and your back. And these things, they are cutting into my neck right now, but they are holding me back. And like I said, you can adjust them a little bit. So anyway, when you're all done, boom, you get all done, pull this down, and you're out. Here's how you do these. There's a little collar on here. All you do is take this piece right here that I'm sitting on. These pull up like this, and then this loosens. That's all it is. That one folds down there. That one folds down there. Now, with like drag cars and stuff like that, these things can get outdated. Mud trucks are a lot different because we don't run them. A lot of guys aren't really rolling their shit, so I mean, they last a lot longer. It's not something that I believe is checked a whole lot. One of the biggest things is like when you're done mud bogging at the end of the event, these things get caked in mud. They're not really designed for that, so just make sure these are clean because these really do matter. Whenever I go out, I at least wear my lap belt now, and whenever I know I got a nice straight line run, I at least put my harnesses on. And whenever I have somebody riding with me, 100%, I make them put them on now, just because the trucks have gotten bigger, they're faster. Guys don't know what the hell they're doing. You're slapping anybody behind 1,000 horsepower and they don't know what to do, you know? Not like any of us do, but it's usually just pin it to win it, you know what I mean, and hang on. So, but that's pretty much it. Like I said, there's another style I can show you. We can actually hop over there if you want to hang on for just 1 second. Can you squeeze through here or no? We're gonna go from coast to coast. All right, so here's my truck. This truck is gonna be a little bit different because this is a pro bog truck. So everything that had, this is 10 times better just because it's a pro bog truck. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you just a simple setup because I built this truck to kind of do everything. If I want to wheel it, four-wheel it, mud bog it, freestyle it, kill it, who gives a shit? So here's the style that I got, okay? I've got the style that like a lot of guys run, okay? And then you got this one over here. And I've even got my 5th one, but I never use it. So with these ones here, same thing. What we do is this. You got this piece right here. So when you're putting these in, because I put them in backwards back in the day, make sure they go the right way. That one goes there. That one goes there. This comes under here. And then this little cam lock locks. So now when you go to get out, you push down in the center and just pop that out. So when you're like this, you gotta get out, everything comes apart. They work really good. So what I do here, go through this real quick. Mine fits me perfect here. So we need 5-point harnesses and chippers. Oh. There's this one. Okay, and then we get to these bad boys. Oh, they're a little muddy. The guy that I pay that washes my truck didn't wash the fucking belts. I wash my own truck. Okay, so we're good. We're in, right? So here's what we did with this truck. Everything I can reach. Everything's right here. Everything's right here. Here's my start. Boom. So if you're out in an event and you're jumping and you're doing whatever and you lose power, you know what I mean, you're right here, you can just boom, restart it, you're good to go. All my gauges are visible, I can see everything I need to see. My shifter again, yeah, right there. Everything's right there. So these are things to think about when you're building the truck. Fire extinguisher down here. I got one on both sides in this truck. What I used to do was I used to zip tie them. That's really not a good idea because to get the zip tie off, you usually got to use a knife to cut them. Then one time I cut myself real bad with a knife trying to get to my fire extinguisher. Yeah, and I was burning. So I just I aborted the mission on the fire extinguisher and just started bleeding on the fire instead. So anyway, so we're here like this, boom, you get out. So and then, like I said, I just kind of readjust. So when you're putting the fire extinguishers in, get the ones with the flip latches and just spend the 2 minutes to install them the right way. I know it's a lot of work, but it's worth it. What the hell else? I was losing my train of thought here. Give me 1 second. Oh, yeah, just really think. So like when you're building your trucks, just sit in the trucks. Before you start mounting all this shit, get your cage in, get everything you need in, okay? And just sit. Get where you're comfortable. Get where you can reach every single thing that you need to reach. Everything, you know? So that's just like a roll cage 101. A lot of my stuff could have gone further back, but I don't care. I built this so that this body can come off of, because it's got the factory floor in it still. So when this cab is junk, I'll just cut it. Right here's my body mounts in the back. This cab will slide right off. Another cab slides right on. So like I said, another thing that's real handy, a little T-handler. I got that for my kids and stuff. And that's it. So I hope that helps.